right, everyone, I appreciate the patience. I just wanted to get this quick update out to you before the night was over because this is going to be something very serious in the next couple days if we don't see a drastic change in this model or the path of this potential Hurricane Sara. We started talking about this a few days ago, and now we actually have spaghetti models coming out from the National Hurricane Center showing exactly what we were talking about the other day. This thing looks like it's going to become a monster in the Caribbean. That's almost guaranteed. I mean, take a look at these numbers already. 928 millibars, that is nearly a category 5 before it even leaves the Caribbean. Now, granted, this thing is expected to start weakening as it gets into the cooler waters of the Gulf, but the stronger it is before it gets into the Gulf, the more momentum it has with that strength, because once it's there, there's not much room to go before there is a state in its way. Now, what we need to pay attention to is that sudden right hook that takes Sara into western Florida. Now, what we want is for that dip in the jet stream to happen a little sooner. This way, it would wipe out Sara before it made it to Florida and would likely slam into Cuba once again, which would be its third or fourth hurricane landfall this year, as well as multiple blackouts and multiple large earthquakes, all in a very small period of time. This is nothing to mess with. If these dates are correct, we are 1 week away from landfall, somewhere between Cape Coral and possibly Tampa. That may change a lot. Like I said, we're hoping for this dip to come a lot sooner, and we may not have to worry about the storm at all hitting the US. But as you can see in these spaghetti plots, it does have it in the Gulf, and it does have that right hook, or that eastern turn you see with most models taking it over Florida. And once again, I can't stress enough, the strength this thing is showing to become is just super scary for this time of year. We are just over 2 weeks away from the official end of hurricane season. That doesn't mean we can't get hurricanes. It just means that the majority of them stop happening until next year in June. All right, and now one last thing I want to show you that's super important. I mentioned this in the last video that I posted a few days ago. This thing is now showing to be shooting this gap in between Cancun and the western edge of Cuba. Now, in the previous models, this thing was clipping Cuba, kind of weakening it before it got in the Gulf. Now it's showing to go clear between this gap without touching either Cancun or Cuba, which means this thing will be completely undisturbed. It will have no land interaction before it gets into the Gulf, adding to what I said earlier about the strength and the momentum it builds up in the Caribbean. That will just make any impact in the Gulf that much stronger. Not only that, but once these things are in the Gulf, I don't expect this really to happen this time of the year because of the water temperature, but we've seen rapid intensification take place right around this area with a weak category 1 hurricane, and they are major hurricanes or even 4s or 5s by the time they reach land. So anything is possible once these storms are in the Gulf, which means that it is now time to start paying attention once again. As we are approaching Thanksgiving and the holidays, we have to worry about yet another possible hurricane, not to mention striking Florida. That is not set in stone yet, but as of right now, that is what all the models have been shown. All right, my friends, that is all for tonight. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.